Joining me on Believe at Noon is my co host, the wonderful and talented Violet Fink, an actor, director, and head of operations, marketing, and distribution at Family of Light. She brings heart, depth, and a whole lot of creative fire to every conversation. And today we're joined by Natasha Rahman, a soulful singer, songwriter, and musician from London, England, whose sound is as rich as her story. From family sing-songs to festival stages, she's now stepping into the spotlight with her first EP. I am thrilled that you're here, and yay, Violet and I get to speak to Tasha. Welcome.
Yay.
Hello. Tasha, I get to learn so much about you, and I want to know just off the top, what's your earliest musical memory that still makes you smile today?
You know what? It was my first. I did acting growing up, and I never really got a lot of speaking roles. Um, but my first ever like role that wasn't as an extra was as Tiger Lily in Peter Pan, and I got given a a dance to do, and I had to like sing, and that was like the first time, and I fucking nailed it. Sorry, I can't swear, can
Good
I?
for you. Yes, you can. Of course you can. That's great that you did that.
Yeah, no, that was I felt really good about that, and yeah, it was absolutely like shook my tush, and it was great.
Tiger Lily is an iconic role, to be fair.
What
That
iconic,
was, yeah,
honestly.
well
I
done.
really felt like I was in my zone.
How old were you?
I was I think I was like 6 or 7. But yeah,
Oh.
and then we had a little solo, and I was just like, oh man, this is it. This is it.
That was a spark for you? Is that what turned you or just made you decide that this is what you wanted to pursue?
You
Like,
know,
how did that kind of work within your
I think
growing
the
up?
thing that made me want to do music was actually I loved Hannah Montana and stuff growing up, and I was big into that. My whole family is super musically inclined. But I actually used to really like to do sports, and I was very sporty for a very long time, but I got diagnosed with scoliosis when I was around 10 years old, and which meant that I underwent a lot of surgeries to correct it, which meant that I couldn't do a lot of sports. So I fell out of sports, and that kind of passion went into music. And then I won a competition at school called Battle of the Bands, which allowed me to go to the Isle of Wight Festival when I was around 14, I want to say, or 15. And I performed at the Isle of Wight Festival, which was amazing. And yeah, that's the thing that sparked it, because I could see it actually going further, which is really awesome.
And Tasha, that was a huge venue as well. How many people were you performing for?
Oh, that was it was basically on the way to like the main stage, so a lot of people kind of just filtered through, but it was like a couple hundred people. It was amazing. I was so young,
Yeah.
and I was like I was singing my own songs as well as like Jason Mraz and all those amazing covers. And no, honestly, and the crowd was just so lovely, and it was really sweet because it was a very big stage and a very small girl that probably needed a lot more backing for a stage like that. But it was an amazing opportunity.
That's wonderful. I was going to ask you, who's your musical influences? Who sort of
Ooh.
sparks you?
I have quite a range. I love this artist called Remy Wolf, who's American. She's like a mix of, electronic, soul, pop, just everything ridiculously amazing. Like just really weird sounds, which I find really interesting. And then I also love like Bruno Mars, Silk Sonic. Um, and then of course, I love like the storytelling of like people like Amy Winehouse, and I'm now blanking, but amazing artists like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tasha, so you've posted, or we've posted, I guess, Garden of Eden on Noon Miracle. When did you write that?
I wrote that during COVID, actually. And I wrote it while I was studying at university, because I basically studied philosophy, religion, and ethics during that time. So did loads of coursework on the Bible and other religious aspects. And I think during that time as well, it was such it was just such an intense moment in time where no one really knew what was the truth. There was so many,
Mm.
fake news type of stories, and Donald Trump was president, and it was like there was so many different narratives that were happening. And also during that time, I was doing some coursework on literally the story of, Garden of Eden. And so that would have been drilled into my head. And then this idea of like people not telling the truth and, saying, I want to do the right thing, and they have the capability to do that thing that they say that they want to do, and they just don't act on it. So that's kind of what inspired that song, because I know one of the lyrics is like, a beggar came to me one day with a beggar came to me one day, and with the 20 in my pocket, I said I didn't have any money, basically. And I think that kind of encapsulated this kind of feeling of like, I want to help, but I'm going to hold on to my money, even though I could give it away. And yeah,
Mm.
that kind of that's what inspired the song, basically.
Was this the start of your first album? Is that what motivated you to write your? Are you in the middle of writing, or have you finished your writing your album?
So I'm doing an EP at the moment.
Yes.
And I finished off the EP. It's taken a really long time because it's totally like self-funded and trying to make everything work on the funding side as well as just like my work and all this. So it's definitely it's a difficult thing to get through, especially because it takes time to find the right team around you, like the right producers and mixers and masters and stuff. Um, and so yeah, we finished off the EP actually, I think like last month. And yeah, it's a mix of different songs. Garden of Eden is gonna probably be released next year, which is really exciting. But I guess it's been quite a long process because I've also had songs on that EP that I literally wrote last year as well. So it's a big, accumulation of a lot of years of hard work, basically.
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you still writing more music now? I feel like I should know this, but
Yes, I am still writing music now. I've got a few other songs that I want to get produced for the next project. I also love writing for other people, and I have some things I've written with some friends and stuff, which is amazing. I love the whole process. I think it's so cool, not only just to write for myself, but when you write for other people, getting into like what are they trying to say, how would they say it, and I just think it's such an interesting process of like trying to get into someone else's like point of view. Um,
Mm,
it's challenging though, for sure.
yeah, I can imagine. And do you find that you work better in a collaborative sense, or do you sometimes just sit down and you have this flash and you're like, I need to write this song now?
It's really odd because when I first started writing, I could only write alone, and I could literally write a song start to finish within like an hour or two, and I was done, felt great about it, didn't touch it. But the older I've gotten, the more I just absolutely love writing with people, because I think I'm definitely the mindset of surround yourself with people who are more talented than you and who are just like better at doing things than you, because you're going to learn and it's going to be even, better than what you could have possibly have done. Like I know one of my best friends, Jane, is an amazing songwriter, and she helped write the song that I'm going to be releasing at the end of summer slash the start of autumn. And yeah, that was honestly one of the best like writing processes I've ever had, because she knows me so well. And so she got all like the little nuances of, phrases that I would say, or she, if I was writing about a story that happened to me, she knows because she was someone that I confided in during that time. So I think it's really awesome when you can not only collaborate with people, but collaborate with people that you know so well.
Tasha, take us back to when you were a kid. With my understanding that you came from a very creative family, how were you in that sort of process? And, where was that interest initially for you? I mean, did you have to kind of think twice about something, or did you just know what you wanted to do?
Well, I think so. My family, I have a massive family. I've got five siblings, and I am the second youngest. My younger brother is a bit younger than me. He's like 9 years younger, so he didn't come until a little bit later. But being in such a big family, there's so many voices, and you think that that would mean that you often get silenced because there's so many loud voices. But that was so not the case. In my family, it's like we all participate and no one can like falter. So it would be things like singing musical theatre songs. Like we were the cast of Les Miserables and we had our, you know, our parts and harmonies. And I have the most supportive family in the world because the second I decided to pick up the guitar or apply for Bath the Bands or just sing around the house, they always made sure to let me know that they thought I was good. And that's given me a lot of confidence, I guess. But no, I feel so lucky because I think I could have turned around and said I wanted to be a painter. And even if I was really bad at it, I think that they would have been just as supportive because that's the type of family that I have.
Wow.
Yeah, they are amazing, and I
Yes.
think they all kind of they hold a big microphone up to anyone who's ready to give a show, basically. And at the end of it, even if you've done a pretty bad job, but you've given it your all, they're really supportive.
We're big on sportsmanship in our family. Participation awards,
Yeah.
100% is a bit of us.
Oh, wonderful. When you're stuck, Tasha, when you're stuck creatively, what pulls you back into the flow?
Oh, that's a really good question. That's tough because it's something that I think a lot of musicians struggle with because I think it's really easy for life to get in the way. Um, but I think the things that help me get back in it is honestly, I surround myself with people who really inspire me and who constantly kind of feed that, you know, that thirst, if you will, because I go to so many gigs and I do have such talented family members and friends, and I see the way that they pursue their dreams and they do it with such hunger and drive that every single time I see them succeed, it makes me want to give it another go. So if I find that like I'm maybe out of it a little bit and I go to my friend's gig and she's absolutely smashing it or she's on tour or whatever, it makes me want to go home and write and makes me want to try and do that for myself. But yeah, I think that's largely down to people around me being so inspirational, I think.
You're re-energized by people who are just killing it. You're like, I can do that.
Honestly, it's
Why
true.
am I doing that?
I don't know what I did to win the lottery in life to have the community that I do around me, but between my friends and family and just everyone, even like the people that I work with, and it's just I'm so lucky to be in contact with such incredible people who are just so driven to create, and I think it's so awesome. I'm there's never a time for me not to be inspired.
Mm.
And actually, Tasha, that's credit to you and the energy that you bring to others. So really, when you look at the conduit, that is you. That's that desire to want to create with others. And I want to ask you, Tasha, what genre do you prefer? Do you have one particular one, or do you whatever inspires you?
I love soul music. I think my main thing that inspires me is soul music, but I think it's like I go through different periods of, it's a bit of like a pendulum, but predominantly soul music for myself, but I absolutely love listening to jazz music. I love listening to pop because oh my God, I'm a pop girly at heart. And then I also yeah, I really enjoy, I love Joni Mitchell, like the indie stuff and country music as well. I think country music is having a resurgence, which is so amazing right now. And I love that. For ages, I think people really like to put down country music for whatever reason. I don't know why, but people had a real thing.
I feel like it kind of lost its heart a little bit. Like it ended up just being about boots and beers and girls and
Yeah, it did.
and there was always more to it, but it had an essential element of storytelling years and years ago, and now I think that's becoming something that is incorporated back into it, which is really nice. But Tasha, I
Yeah.
was going to say, like you, anytime you sing something from the Chicks, it's one of my favorite performances from
That's
So
great.
country album.
I can do like a good country impression, and
But
my family have often said that they prefer it over my normal stuff because my family loves country music. So yeah, no, I do. You know what I think is really interesting is I feel like the country music that's become a bit more mainstream, like Sabrina Carpenter doing a bit more country like twangs and pop, and then even like Beyonce coming in with her album and stuff. It's just it's like country has almost become like popified.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's really awesome. It's almost there's a good degree of like tongue in cheek, which I think people really enjoy about it as well. And I love that because a lot of my music, not Garden of Eden, but my other music that I do, the other songs which I will be releasing soon, it's a lot of tongue-in-cheek lyricism and a lot of poking fun at myself.
That's the best, isn't it? So Tasha, could we find your music? Where will we be able to listen to it?
It will be out on all available platforms on Spotify and Amazon, Apple Music, all that good stuff. I think the way to find it will probably be on my Instagram, where there'll be a link. And that will be this summer, will be my first ever single, which I'm really excited, um, called Don't Take It Personal, which
Don't take
is
it
tongue in
personal.
cheek because I did take it personal. Did take it personal, and then I wrote a song about it.
Oh, that's great.
it's always stuck in my head, and I always wake up and I'm like, oh, me, myself, and I. It's time to, and then I can't play
I love that. Thank you.
it.
That's so great. Tasha, what did performing live for the first time teach you about yourself as an artist?
Um, it's the first time my legs were shaking so badly. And I didn't get rid of that for a while, and then now I can perform without my legs shaking.
Wow.
Um, but for like that first year when because I did like back-to-back gigs at one point when I first got out of high school, I did the whole gig circuit around London and stuff. And that was scary. But I think what I learned from myself the first time I did it, I was just like, oh my God, it was such a weird thing just to sing into like a mic. That was, it's the thing of dreams, when that's all you can think about growing up. It's like, oh my God, one day I'm gonna sing into that mic. And I don't know if you guys have had the pleasure of using a mic, but it's like the most euphoric feeling the first time you ever do it because you're like, wow, I'm a pop star. So I think
And I'm
that was my first, like, yeah, that was like my first experience. I felt like I was Hannah Montana. And then the older I've gotten, and the more like experience I've gotten with performing and stuff, um, I don't know, it's given me a lot more confidence, I think, because in order to perform, and especially if you get into the habit of performing frequently, um, or, or just even after the first like 10, 12, whatever, um, I don't know, you look forward to that like adrenaline spike, which is amazing. And yeah, you have to own it. So I think that's something that it's made me a bit more daring, I think. I feel a lot more comfortable doing it.
I think also your siblings give you loads of practice as well because every time they have a party, guess who's the entertainment?
Yeah, I am the in-house entertainment for my family. My dad, every single time he had a friend over, he'd go, Dad, just bring down your guitar. I always want to hear a few songs. And now that's transferred onto my siblings who are now adults, who now request request music at every single one of their parties, which is fun. But
Oh,
again,
that's great.
it's so lovely. Like I have the best family around me. I could not they are so silly supportive, and yeah, no, I'm so grateful. Like I think if I didn't have my family be as supportive as they have been, and who push me and genuinely believe so much in me. Um, yeah, I don't think I would even I wouldn't have finished a CP, and I probably wouldn't have gone down this path at all, to be honest, because it's a scary path to
Yes.
go down, I think, and even to like self-fund your own music and your own savings and all this, it's like it's quite a daunting thing.
Yes.
But yeah, my family's just always made me feel so like supported and like I just got to do it.
And actually, to that point, it really is. I mean, because you need something to supplement what it is that you're doing. What can you, for our listeners and viewers, what one thing could you suggest for those who are starting out and just really kind of need to know that it's possible?
I think that it's better to understand exactly what you're able to do and bring to the table, because as a musician, there's so many ways in which you can make money. Whether that is through function music, playing at bars, playing at hotels, or whatever. I have many friends who have been able to fund tours and, you know, their entire albums off of that. There's definitely money into that, but you have to have a good repertoire. You have to know if you can, you have to know your instrument very well, and you know, the idea of customer service, because that is a business in itself that you're running alongside your artist project business. So there's that option, or you could go down the day day job route, which
Yes.
is just as valid. And that is actually what I do. I have a day job. I work in the music industry. I actually help book musicians for high-end venues.
Oh, that's
Um,
great. So you're still
yeah,
in it.
that's exactly what in my head, when I decided that I wanted to have some security of just knowing what I was earning per month. I realized that I wanted to be in the music industry because then I got to meet as many musicians as possible, and I have done that, and that's also really awesome. So I think any people who were trying to make music and fund themselves, I would just really look at your skill set and make a judgment call of whether you want to go down the self-employed route or go down the employed route. And if you go down the employed route, is there a smart way that you could go down it that you aren't wasting your time in something that's going to make you feel unfulfilled? Because I can honestly say that my job, working with as many musicians as I do, it genuinely does fulfill me because I still feel like I'm in the space that I want to be in. So, yeah, I think it's just all about trying to find something that's going to make you happy and fulfilled and feel safe.
Yeah, I think finding that balance is so important, and especially as an artist as well, when there's so much uncertainty that can happen in a career, to have that stability and to be like, okay, it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna be able
Yeah,
to.
but you know what? I know also some other musicians who do like, they work in coffee shops and stuff and they absolutely crush it as well. I think it's just I just think the most important thing is thinking about what's going to make me happy on a day-to-day basis and how can I achieve that goal, because it's really hard to jump from, 0 to 100 and to take off and be able to do your original project every single day and make money. So I think it's just like having a long, hard look of like what could be my long-term solution until my artist project takes off, I think.
It's great, a wonderful strategy to think that way. Thank you for that. And I wanted to ask you, because this is Believe at Noon, what does believing at noon mean to you if you were to interpret that phrase as a song or a moment in your life?
Believe at noon,
Believing at noon.
at noon, believing at
At noon.
Ooh, that's really tough. Believing at noon.
Yeah, if you had to
Hmm.
interpret that as a phrase or a song in a moment in your life.
I think there's something really romantic about, you know, believing in yourself. Believing at noon is like midday type of thing. So I probably would, I don't know. I think that noon is like the highest point as well, isn't it? The sun's at its highest point.
Interesting. That's an interesting perspective.
So I guess for me, like believing in noon, believing in yourself at noon, or sorry, believe at noon, sorry. Um, I think I'd probably take that as like the most you're ever going to believe in yourself is probably at like your highest peak. And if you always believe that you're at your highest peak and you're, you know, in just your absolute uh optimum era, I guess that makes believing in yourself even more better. And if you constantly believe that you're at noon, then that's a good thing, isn't it?
I love it. Natasha, thank you. That was a beautiful answer. And you see, you learn something every day because that was, that is it, your highest point, and you're there. And congratulations. And but we want to just keep hearing your music. I first was introduced to you from Noon Miracle, and so see how things kind of transpire. It's unbelievable. It's miracle, really.
I'm so glad. Thank you so much. This has been so lovely to like chat to you guys.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.